Good morning from the News and Current Affairs Department of OK Communications Incorporated. This is TROKON FREEMAN with news then on OK FM 99.5. Today is Monday, the 23rd day of July 2018. In our headlines this morning, President George Weah says he will be the first sitting president in the country's decades of existence to connect the entire country with paved roads, while indicating that no amount of criticisms and dissenting public opinions would impede his government's determination to advance its developmental agenda. Two opposition senators, Dallas Gould and Peter Coleman, joined governing CDC, with Gould saying President Weah, the man who was once underestimated, is on a path to success, while Dr. Coleman confesses that he opposed the party because his brain was eaten by malaria. A prosecution that was those linked to the squandering of district resources. Representative Henson Kiasolu has told members of his constituency while breaking ground for the construction of a bridge. And away from Liberia, gunmen in South Africa have killed 11 taxi drivers in an ambush, police say. The details of these stories and other developments are packaged in today's presentation of the program. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the news bulletin. Many thanks for rejoining the program. This is Augustine, Bill, KOLLIE, and the news bulletin. Augustine, good morning.
Good morning, TROKON. Good morning, everyone. President George Weah has dogged to be the first sitting president in the country's decades of existence to connect the entire country with paved roads. The Liberian leader indicated that no amount of criticisms and dissenting public opinions would impede his government's determination to advance its developmental agenda, stating that there are associated economic and trade dividends when the roads are paved. President Weah spoke Friday at the Thanksgiving and intercessory prayer held at the Lucerne Events Camara Mosque in Morris Farm, Painesville, as part of activities marking the 171st Independence Day of Liberia. The Liberian leader emphasized the urgent need for the people of Liberia to place unity at the front burner of their undertakings during this period of celebration of Liberia's Independence Day, because national achievement through development does not come amid divisions and negative criticisms. According to him, the situation Liberia faces did not start with his administration, but stressed his commitment to change the situation, while at the same time enjoining Liberians to watch for an unprecedented pace of development between now and December. Speaking earlier, Sheikh Rashid A. Sharif, who delivered the sermon, called on Liberians to unite, giving the government a chance, and also desist from negative criticism. Two Southeastern senators who supported the presidential bid of former Vice President Joseph Boakai have declared their membership to the governing coalition for democratic change. Backed by majority members of the Liberian Senate, former Vice President Boakai unsuccessfully contested the 2017 presidential elections on the ticket of then ruling Unity Party, coming second to Weah's CDC. Senators Peter Coleman of Grand Crew County and Dallas Gould of Rivers joined the CDC Sunday at an elaborate program held at the headquarters of the party. Both Senators Coleman and Gould faced relegation in about 27 months' time. Speaking at the CDC headquarters Sunday, Senator Peter Coleman, who referred to himself as the prodigal son in the Bible, indicated that his brain was eaten by malaria, something he claimed led him to criticize the CDC. Senator Coleman, at the huge gathering, openly admitted that the CDC was denied of 2 separate election victories by the Unity Party, at which time he served the UP. He promised to ensure that the CDC becomes successful in governing the state. For its part, Senator Dal Goyd assured partisans of the CDC of his immense support in fostering the agenda of the government. Senator Goyd said, "President, we are then the man who has been on the mind will succeed in the governance of the state." Receiving the 2 senators, CDC's chairman Moba Molu commended them for the brilliant decision taken to join and support the government's pro-poor agenda. Montserrat District 70 Representative Hanson Kazulu has said those involved in squandering resources meant for his constituency would not go with impunity. Representative Kazulu said the district, through royalty received from sand miners, generated over $138,000, alleging that such amount was siphoned by past leaders. Kazulu said he would seek an audit of the district account and stands ready to prosecute anyone linked to the embezzlement of the fund. The Montserrat lawmaker spoke during the weekend at the groundbreaking ceremony of a bridge linking Virginia waterside to Red Hill Field in District 17. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony, the chairman of the Virginia waterside community, Abraham Weir, called on residents of the area to do away with politics and work together in forging the district ahead. Chairman Weir pledged his community's cooperation towards the implementation of the bridge project. Also speaking at the program was an engineer of the Ministry of Public Works, Clarence Frederick. While extolling Representative Kazulu for initiating discussions for the bridge construction, Frederick told the gathering of district residents to take ownership of their project. A 54-year-old man has died by drowning in Riverside County. Junior Duo, as he is identified, reportedly got drowned in the Draw River while making his way from Sister City to Bablonzo. According to reports, the incident occurred during the weekend when 54-year-old Duo was returning home after attending a ceremony on the day of his death. He was said to be under the influence of alcohol when he boarded a meeting cannon at the Draw River. A reporter in the county, Aaron Jesus, said the death of the 54-year-old man was reported by another resident who discovered his belongings in the main cannon at the center of the river. In another development, the superintendent of Sisters Prison in Riverside County has intensified plea for the restoration of electricity at the prison facility. Superintendent Sedu Kuyate disclosed that since the breakdown of solar panels at the Sisters Prison compound for the past 3 weeks, they are currently using torchlights as an alternative during night hours. He told our reporter in the county that the Ministry of Justice is yet to respond to the situation, including officials of the county. The Supreme Court of Liberia has retired Nema County resident George Emery Pay from service. George Pay's retirement is in accordance with Article 72B of the Liberian Constitution. The resident George of Nema County was also earned and certificated for services rendered the country. Speaking at the retirement ceremony in KOLLIE, the Chief Justice of Liberia, Francis Kokpo, thanked George Pay for his professional service to the country. Chief Justice Kokpo also urged the retired George to remain ready as the court may need him at any time. Justice Kokpo further announced that 2 weeks from now, the Supreme Court is expected to retire Associate Justice Philip A. Banks and the resident George of Grand Cape County. He termed the retirement and honoring of George Pay as a continual process by the Supreme Court of Liberia, stating that the court is in full readiness to replace any of its judges or justices. For his part, retired George Emmer Pate expressed happiness for his retirement and thanked the Supreme Court for granting him the time to serve. The retired resident George reaffirmed his commitment to the judicial profession and called on the court to make use of him at any time. Montserrat County senatorial candidate Bernal Benson is appealing to government to place a ban on the sale of tramadol. Bernal Johnson, alias DJ Blue, said tramadol is killing the young people of the country, noting they are the only hope of the nation. Benson made the call over the weekend in Painesville City when several luxury groups of the Unity Party and other opposition parties endorsed his candidature for Montserrat County senatorial by-election. Bernard Johnson also described it as sheer wickedness action by the CDC-led government to feature certain lawmakers in the by-elections in Montserrat and Bond County in the midst of economic hardship. He, however, wondered why neighboring countries are making millions of dollars on tourism and Liberia does not to make a cent from this sector. DJ Blue attributed the problem to lack of vision on the part of past and present leaders of the country. The groups include Painesville Teachers Association in support of Buckeye, Energetic Network for Buckeye Empowerment, and Movement to Bring Opposition to JNB. Mr. Ruben Rayon is the chairman of that movement to bring opposition to the JNB. He read the endorsement statement. The founder of the Dominion Christian Fellowship Center in Liberia has challenged the citizens to have endless passion for the country if they must achieve the necessary transformation. Archbishop Isaac Winker wants Liberians do away with deception and criticism. According to the religious cleric, the current economic situation and other challenges can only be overcome with the joint effort of every citizen. Bishop Winker spoke Sunday as guest speaker of the National Thanksgiving and Intercessory Service held in honor of Liberia's 171st Independence Day celebration at the Centennial Memorial Pavilion in Monrovia. Speaking on the theme, National Transformation, Dr. Winker further urged members of the Interreligious Council of Liberia to remain effective in helping to build a new Liberia. Archbishop Winker used the occasion to call on government to provide more support towards the country's education sector. Dr. Winker said there is a need to increase the educational budget of the country for the purpose of promoting quality education. Making remarks at the Independence Day service, Dr. Cotto Brown, chairman of the Liberia Council of Churches, blasted national leaders for what he called their involvement in corruption, other vices hindering the country's development. According to Dr. Brown, national leaders must desist from unwholesome practices and reference God in their decisions for the nation. The LCC chairman was also the general overseer of the Apostolic Pentecostal Churches International, called for reconciliation among leaders of the country. And the political leader of the opposition Alternative National Congress, Alexander Cummins, has termed as false and baseless accusation that he is supporting an economic think tank called SIPA in the country. CPAN, which acronym is the Center for Policy Action and Research, recently provided a 28-page critique document on the national budget with emphasis that the 2018-2019 national envelope is not proper. Speaking during the weekend in Monrovia, Mr. Coleman said it's unfortunate for the officials in government to start pointing accusing fingers at him for things he has no idea of. His comment is in reaction to the Information Minister Eugene Nangbi, who recently accused him of supporting the pro-democracy group SIPA at the party's headquarters in observance of the Proper Day celebration. According to him, though he supports the argument proffered by SIPA surrounding the national budget and other critical economic issues in the country, he has not given a dime to them. He added that it is a shame for the Information Minister to provide fake and baseless information about things he cannot prove. Those were stories contained in the news bulletin.
Many thanks, Augustine Bill Kollie, for the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature here on News, then on OKFM 99.5. In our top stories this morning, President George Weah says he will be the first sitting president in the country's decades of existence to connect the entire country with paved roads, while indicating that no amount of criticisms and dissenting public opinions would impede his government's determination to advance its development agenda. Two opposition senators, Dallas Gould and Peter Coleman, joined governing CDC, with Gould saying President Weah, the man who was once underestimated, is on the path to success, while Dr. Peter Coleman confesses that he opposed the party because his brain was eaten by malaria. A prosecution awaits those linked to the squandering of district resources. Representative Henson Kiazulu has told members of his constituency while holding a groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a bridge. And away from Liberia, gunmen in South Africa have killed 11 taxi drivers in an ambush, police say. Let's quickly go into the actuality, beginning from the executive mansion, where President George Weah has dodged to be the first sitting president in the country's decades of existence to connect the entire country with paved roads. The Liberian leader indicated that no amount of criticisms and dissenting public opinions would impede his government's determination to advance its development agenda, stating that there are associated economic and trade dividends when the roads are paved. Liberian leader Dr. George Weah dogging to be the first sitting president in the country's decades of existence to connect the entire country with paved roads. Quick reactions on the story from our page OKFM Liberia. Abu Kamara: you will succeed President George Weah. The pro-poor agenda is working in the cause of the people. Another one says, no devil of hell can stop you, President. It comes from Jaros Wika. Jai Coisin writes, I'm quite optimistic that President Weah will connect the 15 political subdivisions of the country with paved roads. Marcus Dolman, President, one and only that know you will be successful in life no matter what comes your way. My vote for you was not in vain and cannot wait to come. Taste the development next month. Let's continue with more developments. Two Southeastern senators who supported the presidential bid of former Vice President Joseph Newman Bouaka have declared their membership to the governing Coalition for Democratic Change, the CDC, backed by majority members of the Liberian Senate. Former VP Bouaka unsuccessfully contested the 2017 presidential elections on the ticket of then ruling United Party, coming second to Weah's CDC. Senators Peter Coleman of Grand Crew and Dallas Gould Rivers joined as CDC Sunday at an elaborate program held at headquarters of the party.
I am the prodigal son. I was part and pastor from the beginning of this party. But I don't know, maybe that cerebral malaria got my hair and I went the other way. But distinguished partisan, I have come back home. Some people can fight the battle all the way to the end, then they give up. I confess I'm one of them. But Mr. Chairman, some of those same people who used to curse us, they are the one now in the party jumping up. So if those people who used to curse us are here, where are we outside there? I need to be here. Mr. Chairman, I have come back home invigorated, strengthened, and ready to fight this battle. Before then, it was a battle we were fighting for recognition. When nobody knew us. When we won election, they took it from us. This time around, it's not about that. It's about pushing development and changing the status of living of the Liberian people. A proper agenda, Mr. Chairman, is what we all saw in 2005 to make it the fulcrum of this government. Nobody, especially from the region where I'm from, will stand on the side and see things unfolding.
Grand Crook County Senator Dr. Peter Komove, referring to himself as the prodigal son, and the Bible indicating that his brain was eaten by malaria, something he claimed led him to criticize the CDC during the last elections. For his part, Senator Dallas Gordon showed partisans of the CDC of his immense support in fostering the agenda of government. Senator Guer said President Weah, the man who has been underestimated, will succeed in the governance of the state.
They will be forced to respect the man because of what we have envisioned in our futuristic telescopic mind. And being a political realist, we can no longer afford to sit on the fringes and periphery of history. We have to be part of this history, and this we have said to do. This government can succeed. This government will succeed. I have come to realize in my life as a public servant that the true tenets of democracy is sustained by the concerted, collaborative efforts of all individuals. Encompasses people of different political ideology, be it liberal or conservative, calls for patriotism, nationalism, and a dedicated sense of loyalty to this country.
Rivers County Senator Dallas Goer and Dr. Peter Komove are now members of the ruling CDC. Mosrata County District 17 Representative Henson Kiazulu has said those involved in squandering resources meant for his constituency will not go with impunity. Representative Kiazulu said the district, through royalty received from St. Manos, generated over $138,000 US, alleging that such amount was siphoned by past leaders. Kiazulu said he will seek an audit of the district account and stands ready to prosecute anyone linked to the investment of the funds.
The community made over $138,000 US from the contribution by the same manner. And to my surprise, when I went through your bank statement, all the money in your account were being siphoned by the authorities that you entrusted the past year. I saw a lot of withdrawal. I will be tempted or inclined to even call some of the names. One is a dollar, but I suspended that. But I must comment that your community account now is being monitored by your representative. Though that have criminalized your community escrow account, I can tell you that day is completely over.
Mosrata County District 17 Representative Hassan Giaslu there speaking, and he spoke during the weekend at the groundbreaking ceremony of a bridge linking Virginian Waterside to Red Hill Field in District number 17. Speaking during the program, the chairman of the Virginian Waterside Community, Ibrahim Weah, called on residents of the area to do away with politics and work together in forging the district forward.
We will work with you because it's in our interest. It's in the interest of the township, it's in the interest of the community, and it's in the interest of the Republic of Liberia. So 100% I can assure you that we will work with you. And we have our men in our midst, just in case you need an idea You have. I don't say you now have you achieving any of the public work ministry. I believe you have everything, but just in case. And my last word is that politics should unite people. Politics should unite people. We should not use politics to divide us.
Ibrahim Weir is a chairman of the Virginians Waterside Community Vias speaking. Also speaking at the program was an engineer of the Ministry of Public Works, Clarence Frederick, while restored in Representative Kiazelu for initiating discussions for the bridge construction. Frederick told a gathering of district residents to take ownership of the project.
You that are cooking, you in the kitchen and the food is being cooked. You can't eat some. Take the food and carry it to different place. I'm seeing this that Ministry of Public Work, the head office here, we have all this stuff and we don't make impact in Monserrato. In fact, we take them out of Monserrato, carry other places to do work there. But Honorable Kiazuru has been very, very instrumental. Minister Chesney, he went to Minister Langley, they all came to me, and I told him fairly and squarely, we don't have sufficient component in order to launch this bridge.
Clarence Frederick is an engineer of the Ministry of Public Works speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony of a bridge in District number 17, Monserrato County. A 54-year-old man has died by drowning in Rivers County. Junior Duo, as he is identified, reportedly got drowned in the Draw River while making his way from Sexton City to Bablo Zone. Aaron Gizit is OKFM's Rivers correspondent. He spoke on the line with my colleague Augustine Bill KOLLIE.
It occurred between 5 to 6 p.m. on Saturday, according to the family sources. The victim, the late Junior Duo, as he is identified by family members, have come from Bablo Zone, somewhere in Zaplan Administrative District, and came to Cestus, where he had come to form part of a dropping ceremony, and then right after that ceremony on the outskirts of Cestus, he decided to get back to his home in Bablo Zone. But according to those on the scene at the time he attempted going, they said he was under the influence of alcohol, so he was taught to not go alone. But then out of sudden, while the group was gathering at the site, there was a riot that broke out and police came and arrested some individuals who were connected to the violence act.
Aaron Gizit is our correspondent there in Rivers County. In more county news, the Supreme Court of Liberia has retired Nema County resident George Emery Pay from service. George Pay's retirement is in accordance with Article 72B of the Liberian Constitution. Speaking at a ceremony at the weekend in San KOLLIE, the Chief Justice of Liberia, Francis Kokbo, have thanked George Pay for his professional service to the country.
Chief Justices and judges are required to retire at the age of 70. So this program today is a mandate of our organic law. In the past, we have conducted retirement exercise the way we're doing today. For magistrates, for specialized court judges, for circuit judges, and at the highest level, for justices of the Supreme Court. Some of you may recall that in 2011, I think it was in April 2011, we had to retire Madam Justice Gladys Johnson, who was then a member of the Supreme Court.
Chief Justice Francis Kokbo, for his part, retired George Emery Pay expressed happiness for his retirement and thanked the Supreme Court for granting him a time to serve the country.
So I'm very happy. We started this journey. I can say I started my earlier before my colleague. Over the hill that I was here in Charter line. 1993, I was appointed by Charter here as secretary of his line. And during the time of the interim president, at which time Zota was sent here as resident secretary for this circuit. When the President Taylor, took office, he again nominated us and were confirmed.
Retired George Emery P. Moswara County senatorial candidate Bernard Johnson is appealing to government to place a ban on the sale of tramadol. Bernard Johnson, alias DJ Blue, said tramadol is killing the young people of the country, noting they are the only hope of the nation. Benson made a call over the weekend in Painesville City when several auxiliary groups of the Unity Party and other opposition parties endorsed his candidature for Moswara County senatorial by-election.
You, the young people of this country, the young people are the only hope we got. I'm calling on the president of Liberia and the government to ban the sale of tramadol in off the Liberian market. Tramadol killing our young people. And I see some people sitting there and say, what is tramadol? My children are far away. No, they are not. They are only one left turn from becoming an addict. You'll join me as we, you know, Nigeria just took it over the country. Some of the officials in government are trying and testing the resolve of the Liberian people. They are testing to see how smart or how gullible we are. We are crying poor in Liberia, and we have sitting lawmakers that are vying to win the senatorial election to cost the government almost $2 to $3 million that we just don't have.
Bernard Johnson is a candidate vying for the vacant seat in Moswara County. He spoke at a program during the weekend. The groups include Painesville Teachers Association in support of Bwakat, an ejecting network for Bwakat empowerment, and the movement to bring opposition to GMB. Mr. Ruben Rayon is the chairman of the movement to bring opposition to GMB. He read the endorsement statement on behalf of the groups.
Mr. DJ Blue Benson, we have gathered here today to demonstrate to you our support to your vision to introduce new radical economic transformation into our political landscape. We, as members representing auxiliaries from different political parties, having seen your performance and track record, considering all the candidates in the senatorial race, we are convinced that your vision offers a progressive solution to our current economic challenges of our country is faced with. It is against this background that we have unconditionally decided as a group, without fear of favor, without any form of inducement, to support you, Mr. Bernard DJ Blue Benson, senatorial bid for Moswara County.
Ruben Rayud is the chairman of the movement to bring opposition to JB, reading an endorsement statement during the weekend. President George Weah says the training of seafarers in Liberia will further help in the growth and development of the country. President Weah is, however, encouraging LISCA to train more seafarers in order to meet international standards. The Liberian leader spoke during the weekend at the close of a week-long training for 50 seafarers in Monrovia.
This is an important and historic event of which we can all be proud. For many decades, our country has been known to have the second largest shipping registry per tonnage in the world, with over 4,000 vessels registered on our flag. Yet, throughout all these many decades, which Liberia has led in this sector, found ourselves in the ironic, disappointing situation where there are hardly any Liberian crew that can be found aboard this vessel. Liberian seafarers have missed on opportunities to be deployed in the past for working on ships, oil rigs, and fishing vessels due to the lack of proper training and certification.
President George Weah. The training was conducted by the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority and facilitated by the experts from the Regional Maritime University in Accra, Ghana. Speaking at the close of the training, NAFA's Director General Herman Mathieu Glasgow said the training was intended to enhance the capacity of local seafarers and also enable them meet the requirements to work with international vessels.
A few days ago, we addressed the opening of the first seamen training organized by the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority and facilitated by the Regional Maritime University of Ghana. The training was initiated through an assessment of the fisheries sector, specifically for job creation, and our findings established that we needed to invest in our seamen by providing refresher training for certification. The lack of these credentials made it possible for them to be employed today on sea-going vessels. A team was dispatched to Ghana to negotiate with the Regional Maritime University to facilitate a training course in Nigeria.
Mathieu Glasgow is the head of NAV5 for his part. The head of delegation of the Regional Maritime University said the training is intended in order to provide refreshment for seamen to be employed on seagoing vessels. Captain Joshua Ado is at the same time calling on the government to improve the lab preparation to attract more international partners to hugely invest more into the fisheries sector of the country.
Let me say a very big thank you to NAFTA for this MOU signed with the Regional Maritime University. And I think capacity building is quite expensive, and government agencies do promise and never come to life. But we need to be grateful that they are able to take the bull by the horn. So to continue each time we are called upon. We are aware that Liberia is part of the member states of Liberia, and the chair is in Liberia now to have a lot to collaborate and benefit from. Let me say that the delegates were really helpful, very committed to, and I believe that they are not sitting here empty as we met them in terms of training.
Captain Joshua Ado Christopher Malamu spoke on behalf of the trained seafarers during the weekend. Christopher thanked the NAFA's management for such a wonderful training.
And on behalf of the first batch of seafarers from the United Seamen Port and General Workers Union of Liberia to be trained by the Regional Maritime University through the efforts of the government of Liberia and the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, I want to thank each and every one of you who have helped us come to this point in our lives where we have the opportunities to walk across this hall, having finished a rigorous training in the standards for training and certification and housekeeping SCCW. His Excellency Dr. George Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia.
Christopher Malabu. Several inhabitants of Gibraltar community within Claratown are commending President George Weah for his initiative to re-roofing the homes of people residing in the area. In April of this year, President George Weah announced plans to re-roof all the homes in Gibraltar, Claratown in order to spare inhabitants of impending embarrassment on the wake of the rainy season. Speaking to the station over the weekend, the inhabitants lavished their praises on President George Weah for his far-sightedness in helping the people of his area where he grew up.
Joey is always paying attention to the down-treated masses, and you always paying attention to his people. So if one of the things you always say that really motivated me is that everyone has to be like, it's not because of the political division that we came from, but how to keep everything possible.
It's very good for us that live in Gibraltar, because due to the rain, the president told us that built for Chigada, and we need to give the people comfort for Chigada. And this is why he got a regrouping of every home in Chigada. At least we are preaching why he going.
Very over excited because not because of the job we are today. My first got have a lot of leakage and other things. But I thank for the cause today because of job we are influence in where he came from, for the country, the masses, where he came from.
Residents of Gibraltar were appreciating President George Weah for re-roofing their houses. The political leader of the opposition Alternative National Congress, Alexander Cummings, has termed as false and baseless accusation that he is supporting an economic think tank called CPAD in that country. Speaking over the weekend in Monday Review, Mr. Cummings said it is unfortunate for officials in government to start pointing accusing fingers at him for things he has no idea of.
First of all, we shouldn't be spending time, and the government, and shame on the minister, spending time attacking individual Liberians. The fact is, I am not funding CPA. But even if I was, that's my right as a citizen to do that. The results of CPA's analysis, their recommendations, I actually support. It's based in facts, it's based on sound economic principles, and they are making recommendations and suggestions on how to solve our challenges. The government should welcome that. The government should embrace that. We are not the enemies. Yes, we want to hold them accountable, and we make no apologies for that. But this is about a means and an attempt to help solve these intractable, long-term and structural problems.
ANC's political leader, businessman turned politician Alexander Cummings, the founder of the Dominion Christian Fellowship Center in Liberia, has challenged citizens to have endless passion for the country if they must achieve the necessary transformation. Bishop Axel Winker wants Liberians to do away with deception and criticism.
Let me therefore say that passion is the principal raw material for reconstruction of any nation. If we truly have passion for our country, we can build Liberia. It takes passion to build and to be a part of national transformation. And I mean genuine passion, not a mechanical passion. I mean hard-bearing passion, something that is turning you inside out.
Archbishop R.C. Wingard. Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Jara has described as a significant credit the launch of a book launched about the internal medicines department at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center in Monrovia. The book, which is titled Beginning and Growth of the Modern Medicines in Liberia and the Founding of the GFK Medical Center, is written by Dr. Joseph Joe, who is currently serving the medical facility.
Ladies and gentlemen, this book is a significant credit to the medical history of our beloved nation. Not only does it highlight and mention many of the professionals that visited, studied, taught, practiced, volunteered, and overall served Liberia medically, it also offers profound history about Liberia not commonly found in any textbook.
Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Jara, let's read a few comments, and of course we'll bring our foreign developments. Martin Wehrman Brown. Good morning, OKFM. It is so shameful to see politicians crossing from one party to other because they feel insecure. Senator Como and Senator Goe joined the citizen because of insecurity in independent elections. Where was the malaria that ate Senator Como's brain when he was enjoying the fruit of the Unity Party? They are all gravy seekers. TROKON Jones, wow. So people can now return to the institutions after being expelled. Razak Cannon, OKFM, right from Jamaica Road. Let Dr. Weah note that Liberians are tired with promises. We need an immediate short-term program to start our country running. Matthew Bill Toy Senator Goe joined to be re-elected, but he got it all wrong. By the time the senatorial election comes, Liberians will already be convinced that CDC is not able to save Liberia from this economic crisis, the present living condition of an average Liberian can relate. Let's now rejoin Augustine KOLLIE to bring you foreign developments.
Gunmen in South Africa have killed 11 taxi drivers in an ambush, police say. The men from Gauteng province were traveling to Johannesburg on Saturday night when their minibus was fired at. The dead men and 4 more who were critically injured were returning from a colleague's funeral in the coastal region of KwaZulu-Natal, police said. The motive is unclear, although rivalry between groups running minibus taxi routes in South Africa has led to violence in the past. Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has called for racial unity ahead of landmark elections, telling white farmers their lands will not be taken. Former President Robert Mugabe's government supported the seizure of hundreds of white-owned farms, which they saw as unfairly taken by settlers. But Mr. Mnangagwa, 75, told a crowd in Harare that the controversial policy was a thing of the past. Mr. Mnangagwa's move to ease the concerns of white voters comes ahead of historic elections on 30 July. One of Donald Trump's ex-foreign policy aides says allegations that he worked with the Russian government during the 2016 U.S. elections are misleading. The FBI believed Carter Page was collaborating and conspiring with the Russian government at that time. His alleged relationship with Russian intelligence officials are highlighted in court applications which led him being put on surveillance. Mr. Trump said it appeared that his campaign was illegally spied on. The Foreign News.
With those foreign developments, we conclude today's presentation of News Network FM 99.5. My name is TROKON FREEMAN. And before we go, here are the top stories we've followed in today's presentation. President Weah says he will be the first sitting president in the country's decades of existence to connect the entire country with paved roads, while indicating that no amount of criticisms and dissenting public opinions would impede his government's determination to advance its development agenda. 2 opposition senators, Dallas Goy and Peter Coleman, joined ruling CDC, with Goy saying President Weah, the man who was once underestimated, is on a path to sources, while Dr. Coleman confesses that he opposed the party because his brain was eaten by malaria. A prosecution awaits those linked to the squandering of district resources. Representative Henson Kiazulu has told members of his constituency while breaking ground for the construction of a bridge. And away from Liberia, gunmen in South Africa have killed 11 taxi drivers in an ambush, police say. Thanks for listening and watching. My name is TROKON FREEMAN. Good morning.